we are excited today to just dive right into the topic of debt. I know that debt can have a lot of meanings to a lot of different people. Some people think of debt as a way to make money and like investments, and that's really like higher level financial thinking. But for most of us, debt is something that we found ourselves in because we either weren't making enough money, didn't know how to budget, just spent frivolously and used credit cards to pay for those things. There's a lot of different reasons that we can find ourselves there, and it can be overwhelming.
Welcome to the Female Finance Collective podcast, where we encourage women to have open and honest conversations about all things money.
I'm Jen, and I struggled for many years with debt and feeling financially overwhelmed, so I know how frustrating it can be.
And I'm Meri-Li. As a financial planner, I've had the privilege of working with hundreds of women who've transformed their financial lives.
Hey, I'm Sybil. I built my dream life traveling the world and creating financial freedom on a teacher's salary.
Let's start the money conversation. I think for the majority of people who are dealing with this consumer debt, we're not talking about mortgages and car payments. We're talking about that credit card debt, whether it's store credit cards or, multiple Visas and MasterCards. Like some people have many, many cards that they balance and juggle. And that's the kind of debt that we're talking about today. And it can just feel so overwhelming because for every one of those cards that you have that carries a balance, that is a payment that you have to make that every month, right? It's money coming out of your budget, going to that amount every single month. And that is to me what I think is kind of the biggest piece of stress and overwhelm is like watching your account dwindle as you pay all of these things and you don't get anything to show for it, right? You're just trying to pay down your debt. I'm not keeping my lights on. I'm not, getting a new pair of shoes. I'm not putting groceries in my fridge. I'm just like paying off this stuff that I already spent. And a lot of it, I probably don't even remember what I spent it on, right?
Right, and I didn't get the satisfaction I thought I might get from that stuff.
Yep, I think that's the biggest thing. And so I think carrying that type of debt really can take an emotional toll on us. I know when I had debt, I just felt so financially overwhelmed. It honestly impacted every decision that I made. So I would go out to eat with my friends and then feel guilty about the money that I spent. I would buy myself like new pants for work that I probably really needed. And then I would be like, oh, should I really have spent that money? So it was this constant push and pull for me about feeling guilt around money and then feeling shame that I had this debt and not knowing what to do with it. So it can really like stir up a lot of feelings for a lot of people, I think.
I agree, and it's not your fault. I mean, it's society, right? The soon as you hit college campus, what were they trying to offer you? A credit card, right? You see everybody else spending. It's so easy to spend online now. It's a push of a buy now, and it charges the credit card, right? And shows up at your door. Like these are the societal things that we're fighting against. But like you said, Jen, we're fighting against them later. The damage, I'm putting my fingers up in quotes, has already been done. We already purchased the thing or paid for the thing. And now later we're getting this bill that has a very low minimum fee on it. And if we only make that our minimum payment, I should say, and if we only make that minimum payment, the overwhelm gets even bigger because we know that we're not going to be able to pay it off at least anytime soon, right? And so there's so much psychological overwhelm with all of that a lot of times for a lot of us, it's easier to just like ignore it and keep going with it. And unfortunately, what happens when you make that choice, because it is actually making a choice, even though it's a hard choice, we end up, getting stuck and not doing anything at all. So that overwhelm is so real. So what would you say are some good strategies to help us with this overwhelm that we might feel when we're in debt?
Well, I think the very first thing you have to do is really get honest with yourself. So take a piece of paper or an open screen on your computer or a note in your phone and just kind of type out all the things you're feeling, anything you can think of that like contributes to that overwhelm, the debt, the stress, whatever it is, right? Anything that comes to mind. I think that I'm not a huge journaler, but I find that when I'm in like a frustrating situation or I'm not sure what to do or I'm really feeling worked up about something, if I just sit down and like write out how I'm feeling, a lot of times it'll like take a turn and push me in a way I didn't see coming. So maybe by taking some time to really reflect on your debt and just write down all the things that you're thinking of, some of the stuff might really appear on paper that you're like, oh, I didn't even realize it was making me feel that way, right?
Yes, and it helps you get honest with yourself, right? I actually just did this again, not only with debt, with just kind of all my numbers, wrote about it, how's it feeling? And then went and found those numbers and like looked at my phone at, the banking apps and tried to write those numbers down. It's amazing what it feels like to get it out. And then to realize, like, I can do something about this. I already just took the first step, right? And so we need to go through some mindset shifts, don't we? We need to get honest with ourselves. We might want to think about why. Why is this debt making me feel this way, right? And why do I want to get out of it? We're going to have to really convince ourselves. I want to get out of this. I need to do something. I need to take some action. And that's not easy because you're trying to start a new habit, right? You're trying to change, make a big change in your life. And somehow finding a way to spend less than you make, number one. And number two, make a plan to start paying that back, right? Like think about all the self-encouragement we're going to need to do to ourselves, with ourselves, to ourselves, with ourselves, to make that mindset shift because we want to, why do I want to be out of debt? Because I don't want this overwhelm anymore. Because I want to actually move into a different house in 2 years. Because I want to be able to get married debt free. Whatever your why is, thinking about that is a huge and important part of this kind of beginning part and thinking about how can I take action and change things for my future self.
Exactly. And so there's two things that you said that I kind of want to connect back to. So the first one is like that honesty with yourself, like how did I get here? Some what I can speak for myself. I was about to say everybody, but for myself, right? There were absolutely times when I spent more money than I should have. There were absolutely times when I was like, look, I work so I was a teacher. I worked a lot of hours. I worked really hard at my job. Like it was important to me. I wasn't one that just like rolled in and rolled out, right? Like I was like, I should be able to have a nice pair of shoes for work, or I should be able to like feel good about my work clothes. And that doesn't mean that I was like overspending like crazy, but I was definitely spending more money than I had. And a lot of times I was justifying those spends. And if I really would have gotten honest with myself, I could have said, you know what? There are ways I could be spending less. And I think that's a big piece of it is it's not just the practical piece of like you said you have to spend less than you make, right? Like that's just facts.
Yeah.
That's really practical and about black and white, but then there's that also that like kind of gray fuzzy area where it's like can I honestly spend less than I am right now? And the truth for me, even though I wasn't a big spender, the truth for me was always yes. But that was a conversation that I didn't want to have with myself. I would have it sometimes. Some months I would do better than others. And then the
Right.
next month I'd be like, well, shoot, all my friends are going to this thing and I really want to go. And I can't really afford that ticket, but I'm going to buy it anyway because I don't want to miss out. So I think that piece of that you're talking about of having a why, like, why is this important to you? Can I make this like sacrifices? I'm also making air quotes now. Can I make some sacrifices? Can I delay my gratification for a year and a half, and put extra money every month towards getting my debt paid off? Would that outweigh, like, would the benefits outweigh the kind of instant gratification that I would be getting now? And almost always for me, looking back, I could tell you it was yes, right? I really wish that I would have figured that out sooner. It was just, it's a mindset piece and it's just hard. There's
It
no,
is hard.
we're not
It is
trying
hard.
to make people to say, oh, it's so easy, just stop spending less. Like, we
No.
know that's not easy, right?
Right, right, for sure. And we actually just did a recent episode on that short-term sacrifices. So if you check out our channel and find that episode, we have some real good tips for you on, how to make that shift a little bit easier, because it isn't easy, it's hard. But well worth it, right, Jen?
Yep.
Climbing out of debt yourself, you'd say it's the best thing you ever did.
Absolutely. Yep.
Making that decision. Yeah, for sure. And so after we think about these emotions and our why, we need to start thinking about how we're going to take action. And we have a gift for you, and that's a snowball debt payoff calculator. And we're going to put it in the descriptions below. And basically, it's your next steps to take action. So you want to find out what will happen if you start paying more off on your debt. You want to find out how much faster your debts will go away, and therefore your overwhelm goes away, and your decisions to save more money and work towards future goals become an option, right? And so it's a simple plan that allows you to put in up to, I think it's like 15 debts, Jen?
Yeah, I think
Most
so.
people probably have 3 to 5, I don't know, maybe up to 10, but anyway, it can hold as many debts as you need to. And you can kind of play with the number. So if I only pay the minimum, when's it going to be paid off? If I add $25 more a month, when is the credit card going to be paid off? And we help you with the snowball method of paying off debt, and that is paying off the smallest debt first. And this can have some significant motivational advantages, because you can see yourself pay off a whole, Banana Republic card, for example, and then you can feel motivated to keep going and find more money to put towards it. So like I said, we'll link that below, but the next step is to really start making that plan. How
Yeah.
are you going to pay it off?
Agreed. And once you take action, once you make that plan and you've like taken an actual step towards the debt payoff, it feels empowering. You're like, I am doing this. I've like done the mind work, right? I've sat in the thing and I've been honest with myself. And now I'm actually going to take a step. And that calculator, I love it so much. It's very, very fast. All you need is your balances, your interest rates, and the minimum payment required. And you fill that in, and then you add in any additional money that you feel like you can contribute to your debts every month, and it will manipulate everything for you. Honestly, as fast as you can type those numbers is how long it'll take to fill out. It's very, very easy. And I think super, super powerful to see exactly what your plan is, right? Step by step, every single month. This is how much I'm going to pay. This is when it's going to get paid off. And oh my gosh, if I could find an extra $100 every month, I'll be able to pay this off like 2 years faster or whatever it is. It's really, really powerful tool. And
Yeah.
so we encourage everyone to use it. We're happy to share it with you. We want you to have things that make your financial life a little bit easier.
Yeah, this is a transformational tool for those of you that are struggling with debt and ready to take action, for sure. The great thing is, like, you can start a plan of just paying the minimum right now, and then in 2 months, you found $25 more found in your budget, and you can change the date. All you have to do is change 2 things at that point. Change the date, add $25 additional, and then boom, 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 you know what to pay every single month from there on out. Next 2 months later, I've got $50, right? It is so amazing to see those numbers change, which is what we need. Because at the beginning of this episode, we were talking about how hard it is and how overwhelming that is, and we feel like we can't get out of it. This simple tool shows you how you can get out of it, literally, right? That's what it
Right.
literally does.
And this is not an episode to talk about credit card companies and how they are set up. But if you don't already know, just paying the minimum payment is impossible, virtually impossible to pay that off. So that's how credit cards are set up. And you have to put a little bit extra toward in order to get anything paid off. So that's why we're talking about that, finding a little extra in your budget, because that's the only way to make it happen. But we know that you can do it.
Yeah, we do. We do. And this is like perfect timing that we're talking about debt here today, Jen, because we have a 6-week debt payoff power circle starting in the Female Finance Collective community. And that starts April 27th, Sunday, April 27th. And we would love to join you, to join you, have you join us. Inside the community, we're going to have a WhatsApp group chat. We have weekly posts and tips and calls to help you really start taking action and get control and pay off that debt. We have a lot of members already inside the community that are sharing their wins when it comes to paying off debt. And we would love for you to join our community, because what our members say is that it's easier together. They literally post, hey, I'm making my last payment for my car. Recently was one of them. And all of our friends in the community comment and cheer them on. So we would love to have you join that as well. Links will also be in the description so you can find out more information. Yeah.
It's always easier with buddies, right? And our goal with the 6 weeks is just to get you on a path, right? You're not going to have your debt paid off in 6 weeks. I mean, if you are, amazing, right?
Yeah.
But that's not the
Well,
plan.
we're not promising that.
Right. The plan is to just get you set up so that you feel confident and you have a plan and you have a why and you know exactly why this is important to you, and you can move forward to kind of like eliminate that stress. That's the biggest piece, right?
Yep. Eliminate that stress and change your future. Yeah. Thank you so much for listening today. Be sure to like and subscribe and follow our channel. Share our channel with your friends. We really appreciate it. And we'll see you next week.